right now we're talking about surface areas for rectangular prism, for prisms and cylinders. What do you guys think surface area means?
It means the area that's like on the surface of the thing. So like,
Right. The book would call it a solid, like any shape.
Literally the surface.
In this case, it's
area.
prism. Okay, it's the area of each surface. So remember a couple chapters ago we did areas?
yeah.
Like the area of a rectangle is how many square inches or whatever fit inside the rectangle.
Bless you.
So for a 3D image, or a 3D object, the outside is covered with flat surfaces. So if you just want the outside areas, that's what surface area tells you. Okay, you could use surface area for like how much paint do we need to cover this, building or whatever, or how much siding do we need for the walls on this building, whatever. So it'd just be like to cover an outside of something. Okay, if we want to talk about inside stuff, do you guys know what that's called? Volume, which we're not doing today, but it is this chapter. Volumes are actually easier than surface area. Okay, so there's a couple ways we could do surface area. How many sides does a rectangular prism have? 6.
Exactly 6.
Or the book calls them faces. It has 6 faces. You could find the area of all 6 faces and add them together. Roman?
Yeah.
Put that away. Stuff.
See, I was doing actual problems on it. But then actually.
Okay, but that's not how we're going to do it. All prisms should work with this formula. So what do we know about the bases of these prisms?
They're equal.
They are the same. So if you can find 2 base areas, that takes care of the top and the bottom. Now a little side note here. When I say base area, I mean the area of this entire rectangle. So 2 chapters ago, we called this like the base and the height. So on a 2-dimensional polygon, the little b stands for this edge and the height stands for this. So, but on a 3-dimensional prism, capital B stands for the area of the entire base, as opposed to just like one segment. Does that make sense? So little b is what we used a couple chapters ago to find the area of that rectangle based on height. Capital B means the area of a 2-dimensional base, like the entire area. Okay, and on this one we use lowercase h for the height of a polygon. For a prism or any 3D thing, we'll just use an uppercase h. So that'll be the height of our prism. All right, anyways. So to find the other faces, so we have to find the area of the 2 bases, but to find the other faces, the book calls those the lateral faces. So there's like a lateral surface area. That means the up and down sides, the sides between the bases. This has 4 rectangles on this shape, so you could find all 4 rectangles. But we're going to be using a different method. Corey, can you toss me that Kleenex box?
Fortnite.
Be quiet.
Should've.
Okay, if I cut this Kleenex box, like in the corner, I think you'd actually have to cut it across the top too, and like unfolded it, what shape would it make across?
A line.
Rectangle.
That's what I meant.
Okay, if you unfolded this shape, like made a cut right here, you'd have to cut the top some too, and unfolded it, it would just be a really long rectangle, right? So the lateral surface area is like a rectangle. What would the length of this rectangle be?
The bottom
Twice
was.
times the base.
Yeah.
It would be the perimeter of the base. This would be the perimeter of the base. So like this thing. What would the height of this rectangle be? It would be
Just our height.
it would just be the height of the prism. So when we're finding lateral surface area, instead of trying to find all these rectangles, we're just going to do perimeter of the base times the height. Okay, so this gives us the lateral surface area, and this just means 2 times the base surface areas because there's 2 bases. And if you add them all together, that gives you the total surface area. Okay, So sometimes they ask for this, sometimes they ask for that, sometimes they ask for the total. But this is kind of the formula for the surface area of a prism. Okay,
Can you do the perimeter of the,
perimeter of the base.
okay,
So if this was like an 8x5 rectangle or whatever, the perimeter would be 8 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5.
yeah, and then that,
That times the height, and that gives you all of this middle stuff,
yeah,
like
and then
all, kind of all of
plus
it.
two.
Plus 2 bases.
Okay,
Now the base areas can be different shapes. So it could, if it was easy, it'd be a rectangle. That's like the easiest. But it could be a triangle or a hexagon or anyway, it could be lots of stuff. If the base is a circle, what do we call it? What shape is this? Cylinder. So we're also doing cylinders today. By the book's definition, a prism is a cylinder, but when we say cylinders, usually we mean circular bases, right? So circular cylinders. Get out of there. All right. Okay, so cylinders are kind of the same thing because they have 2 bases, but the bases are circles instead of. So let's be a little more specific on cylinders. For cylinders, how do we find the area of a circular base? What's the area formula for a circle? Pi r squared. Okay, and if you want both circles, you would have to do that times 2. Okay, instead of doing the perimeter times the height for the lateral area, guess what we're gonna have to do? Okay, it's kind of like, this is like a toilet paper roll or something. If I cut it right here and unfolded it, it would still be a rectangle. Can you guys imagine that?
Yeah.
You can
Yep.
go find a toilet paper roll and figure it out.
Okay.
Anyways, it would. So instead of the perimeter times the height, it would be the
area.
circumference times the height would give you the lateral surface area. So the circumference, you guys recall?
2 pi
Yep, 2 pi r, 2 r pi. And then that times the height, and that gives you the lateral area.
Radius.
and that's just for cylinders? Not formula?
Yeah, add them together. This is the 2 bases, 2 circles, plus the lateral area gives you the total cylinder area. Okay,
Do you
So-
want us to, like, put in, one of those?
they did both again, so I guess whatever. Number 1. So they want us to, we're kind of reviewing chapter 7 here, like the area chapter. What's the area formula for a triangle? Base times
Base
height.
times.
Now, they say like a right triangle, which would be, the base and height would be the legs. But we'll just put base times, it's not just base times height though, what it, divide by 2, yeah. Or you could say 1/2 base times height if you prefer that. That would work also.
So you do that to find the base and then times that by 2 for surface area? Like that's one?
Yeah, if it was a triangular prism,
Yeah.
like number 6,
Yeah.
you would do that. Okay, the equilateral triangles, there is a special formula we never went over because it's kind of hard to remember, so I just skipped it. And you can figure it out another way. So we'll just, for number 1, we'll stick with the 1/2 base times height.
So we're not doing the.
No. Okay, for 2a, how do we find the area of a square?
Base times height.
Base times height or
Side times side.
side squared? Rhombus?
Is that base 1 plus base 2 over 2?
No, that's trapezoid.
Or is it just base Oh, it's
Kind of,
diagonal
'cause it's
one
parallel.
plus diagonal
Yeah,
two
there is a
over
spe-
two. Oh.
It's not plus. It's diagonal times diagonal divided by 2. So we're gonna have to use these again if these are the shapes of the bases. We're gonna have to like use these formulas. Trapezoid.
Base 1 plus base 2 over 2.
Good job, Whitney.
Okay, that's not quite
times
times the height.
I'll see what kind
It's like average of the bases times the height. That's how I think of it.
Bad job.
But yeah, I guess you have to know what average looks like.
Come on. Use
Okay.
your brain.
Number
Use your whittle brain.
3. Okay, how do we find the area for, you guys might have forgotten this formula. The others class kind of slowly figured it out, took a while. How do we find the area of a regular polygon?
base times height.
No.
Wow.
Oh, that's,
This is like that very last
yeah,
one.
times,
Perimeter. Yeah, do you guys remember what the apothem was?
Yes.
Is the line that kind of goes straight down from the center. It's like perpendicular. So 1/2 times apothem, like if this is like a 6, the perimeter is like 6 times 5 or whatever it is.
1, 2, half.
Anyways, yeah, this line that goes to the corner is called a radius because if you draw a circumscribed circle, that would be the radius. But yeah, the apothem is that one. Yes. Okay. And we didn't really learn like pentagon, hexagon. Those are super hard to remember, so I don't think there's.
so you want us to just write 1/2 times.
Yeah, this works for everything, but that's a regular polygon. I mean.
What does P mean?
Perimeter of the base to be specific. All right, number 5.
Nibital single.
Did you guys take notes? I hope you did.
Yeah.
All right, good job. Number 5, it says find the area of a base and a lateral surface area of each figure. So there's 2 questions. Assume polygonal bases are regular. What do they mean the bases are regular?
They're the same as
No,
I don't know. They're just regular.
means all the sides are the same. So on the bases, we can assume all the sides are the same. So the edges are the same. So on 5, what must the shape of the base be?
Square.
A square.
Square.
So the first question is find the area of the base. So if the base is a square, how would we find that area?
12 times 12.
12 times 12. So the base area is 144 millimeters squared.
Nice.
Okay, question number 2 on number 5. Find the lateral surface area. So we're not finding the total on this section. So how could I find the up and down surface area on number
25
Base times 2.
B.
Okay, it was perimeter of the base times the height of this prism.
Oh, that's lateral.
That's the lateral surface area. Okay, so what is the perimeter of the base on number 5?
48.
Right, 12 times 4. Because it's a square. Perimeter is how far around is it? 12 times 4. So 48 is the perimeter, and the height of the cylinder is 25. So you just do perimeter times height.
Mr. Jordan.
1002.
12. Okay. And that would be all for number 5. Now, if we were to find the total area, which we're going to have to do later, what would we have to do?
Multiply those 2.
No?
Multiply base
Times 2. That plus.
There you go.
pH.
We would need 2 of these, because there's 2 bases, plus the lateral area. The lateral, you guys understand what I mean by lateral area? It's all this stuff. All this sides. And then there's a base on top and bottom. So anyway, we would need 2 of those, like 288 plus 1200. Anyway, alright. Number 7. Actually, pause. Number 6. There's a lot of tricks on this. They kind of made this assignment hard, sorry. On number 6, the base has to be an equilateral triangle because they said it has to be regular, but they only give us a 4 like there. So how do I find the height of this triangle? Because to find the area of a triangle, we need base times.
Oh,
3069.
yeah.
Right. In a equilateral triangle, each angle has to be 60. 180 divided by 3. So it creates an equal of 60, 90, 30, 30, 60, 90. So if the whole base is 4, what's just this little part from there to there? 2. If the short leg on the 30, 60, 90 is 2, what's the long leg? There you go. Hey, you guys remember stuff from...
It's because that test was terrifying.
Was that? Oh yeah, this is the first test we did this chapter.
Yeah, that was scary.
But you still remember, that's the good thing. So, but how would I find the area of this triangle now?
You do, 4 times 2 squared root of 3 over 2.
There you go, yeah. 4 times 2 squared root of 3 divided by 2.
4 squared.
Those kind of cancel out. It's like 4 squared root of 3 inches squared. So that is the base, but you still need to find the lateral area. Perimeter times height. Number 7. Number 7 says find the lateral surface area, which we were doing on the other part, and the total surface area of each figure. Assume that the bases in 7, 9, and 12 are regular polygons. Okay, so if it looks like a regular polygon, it is. Okay, number 7. So the first question was lateral area. I'm just going to put an LA for that. Lateral area. So how have we been finding lateral area? I did it like once, but talked about it a couple times.
Perimeter times height.
Perimeter of the base times the height. So on
You said perimeter over base?
perimeter of the base
Yeah.
times the height, and that just, I don't know, when I think about it in my brain, there's like visual things going on. Let me see if you understand what's going on, it's a lot easier to remember and use these formulas. Like the perimeter of the base tells you how far around it is, right? So imagine like this turning blue or something, but this outside pentagon. And then when you multiply by the height, that's like it's taking it up the sides. So like all these sides are turning blue. And that's the lateral surface area. So perimeter of the base, it's kind of like when you do a rectangle, it's just this times this. All right, anyways. What would the perimeter of the base be if that's a 5? 25. Because there's 5 sides of 5. 5 times 5 is 25. So it's 25 times, and they just told us the height was 8. And let's see, that would be, I think it's 200 meters squared. Okay, now the second question on number 7 is find the surface area. So what are we missing to find the total surface area?
2 base. Or base times 2.
Yeah, we're missing the 2 bases. Like we've got all this stuff, we just don't have top and bottom. So how am I going to find the area of that pentagon?
25 times 2.
No.
Or,
In the little picture, if you look closely, they put ... 3.5. What's that? A potham.
Oh, so
Potham.
it's 1/2.
1/2 a potham perimeter. Yeah. For a regular polygon, like a pentagon, regular pentagon, 1/2 a potham perimeter. So, alright. So 1/2, let's put up here. 1/2 times potham times perimeter. What did we say the perimeter was a minute ago? 25. Okay, but also because there are 2 bases, we also need to multiply this times 2. Yes, it is a lot. I told you it's challenging. A doozy.
Can we do half of this today and half of this tomorrow?
Corey learned a new word. No, the other class finished it. Well,
That's the.
or we finished it. I finished my part, let's say that. 2 times a half. Now, they kind of cancel out, but anyways, let's see, if we multiply that, I think it was like 87.5. That would be the area of the two bases. So I add the two base areas to the lateral area to get my total area, darn it. Get out of there. Should've just erased it. So my total surface area is 287.5. These will be worth like 2 point, like this is worth 1 point, this is worth 1 point.
I'm sorry.
Number 9. We're only going to 14, it's not that far. We can do it.
Yes, it is.
No. No.
It's terrible.
Okay, number 9, so we're supposed to start with lateral area, that's kind of the easy one. How do we do lateral area again, remind me?
Perimeter times height.
Perimeter of the base times the height. On number 9, what would the perimeter of the base be? 8 times 6, 48. Yes. Yeah, that is it's called a hexagon, you guys remember? So it's 8 times 6 is 48, and what's the height of the prism? 23. And we'll probably need a calculator for that. 1,104. Feet. If that was all we had to do, not too hard, right?
Come on.
This next part's gonna be, 9 is actually the hardest because they don't tell us the apophthegm. So they're kind of mean to us on number 9.
They're super mean.
So we're gonna have to go back
Super wild.
in our brains a couple. They do tell us the sides are 8. Okay, do you guys remember how we can find the apophthegm?
Don't you draw in a triangle too?
If I draw these triangles, how would I find one of these angles right here?
Oh, you divide it by 360.
360 divided by 6 is 60. So if I split that with an apophthegm,
That's a 36
okay, if the whole side is 8, what's this? And if this is 4, the long leg is...
4 square root of 3.
Okay. Now the good news is that trick is only needed on number 6 and number 9, so we've kind of handled it already. So 4 square root of 3 is the apophthegm. So remember, I'm doing
1/2 times 4 square root of 3
Yeah.
times 48.
yes 1/2 times 4 square root of 3 times the perimeter 48. But since there's 2 bases, I need to multiply that times 2.
That's not no.
You're not approving of that.
I can't even think of words.
Let's just do decimals here. I think the book did put both answers, but let's do the decimal version, like the square root of 3 answer.
You want us to round to what?
I think they rounded to the 10th place, but yeah, let's do that. What did that come out as?
1,263.3.
I got 332.
You're wrong.
Yeah, 0.55, so you could round it to like 0.6. Okay, so that's the 2 base areas. If we add that back to the lateral area, we get 1436.6.
That's multiplied by 2.
That is the total surface area.
I'm addicted to pre-workout. I cannot go without it. Unhealthy. Soon I'm gonna get addicted to this.
Okay, now we need to take a little side chat about number 10.
Oh,
Okay, on number 10, I'm not going to be doing this, by the way, but what are the sides of the triangular base on number 10? 6, 10, and 8. Okay, there's something, how do I know what the base and height are?
10, no.
Well, there's something special about these three numbers.
oh.
Which means what?
Which means you can find.
It's a right triangle. Which angle would have to be the right angle?
That one.
Because that's the hypotenuse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how can I find the area?
6 times 8.
Divided by 2. But don't forget to multiply by 2 because there's two triangle bases. Okay, anyway, got it?
No. No.
6 times 8 is.
The area of this triangle is 6 times 8 divided by 2. Alright, anyways, moving on.
That's just the area?
That's the area of one of the bases. That's not an answer, that's just part of the problem.
So, okay.
Number 11. So you can kind of see it in the picture that 6, well, the 8's at the bottom, but the 6 and the 8 would be like the base and height of that triangle. Can you guys tell what shape is on number 11?
But,
It is a trapezoid.
Of course Timmy knows.
I'm pretty sure Corey said it.
That was me.
Well, Timmy goes, that is...
Okay, so if you look at the top and the bottom of the prism, you can get all four sides of the trapezoid. Or that. So I just drew, that's just the base on number 11. So, for the lateral area, remind me again, how do we find lateral area?
2 times 1.
Perimeter of the base times the height. So the perimeter of the base is just all these added together. That'll be like 50 plus 56. So it's like 106 times the height of the prism, which they just tell us is 34. So that's our lateral area. And let's see, that's inches this time. Okay. How am I gonna, now for the total surface area, I need the two base areas. So how do I find the area of this trapezoidal base?
That's base 1 plus base 2.
Base plus base, yes,
Over times height.
divided by 2 times height. The height would be the perpendicular one, not that one. That is 28 times 420 plus what?
Come on, Jordan, you got this. I literally believe in
You distracted me.
you. Yet.
Don't worry, I got you, Mr.
Alright, what is it?
I'm gonna beat Whitley.
Wise.
Oh, you know what? We do need to multiply this by
588.
we do need to multiply it by 2 because there's 2 of those. 588 times 2.
Times 3 is
Mr. Jordan,
1,176.
you remember how I said I don't like this chapter, then I said I like this chapter? I'm back to not liking it.
Okay, what was it? 1,000 what?
1,176.
Alright.
Well, I mean, times that into by 2.
No. The bases get multiplied by 2 because there's 2 bases. This is a surface area right here.
Whitley, what'd you get?
For what?
Oh,
It's on the board.
the 18 plus 38.
That was 588, and then you have to times it by 2.
I got 525.
Let's see if we got it right. Yep, this one's right. Okay, 13. The word problems.
No.
These are actually easier than the others, to be honest.
Nothing's easy.
They are easier. Just listen to what it says and then figure it out.
We did 12 together.
This figure represents a square mine shaft from which rocks have been falling. How much sheet metal is needed to cover the sides of the shaft as a safety measure?
Okay.
So what are we looking for if we want to cover the sides of the shaft?
Surface area.
No,
Perimeter.
no.
Lateral.
The lateral area, that's the sides of the shaft,
Duh.
right? So all we need on 13 is lateral area. How have we been finding the lateral area?
The base of perimeter.
Perimeter?
Base times height.
Times height. Perimeter times height. What is the perimeter of the base on number 13?
28.
28, 7 times 4. So 28, and the height of the shaft is 31. So that's all. Easy peasy, Japanese. Is
Told you it was easier.
868.
Can we do 14 together?
Yes. It's a kind of easy too. Well, it says a cylinder thing, and we haven't done a cylinder yet, so I did want to do one of those with you guys. 14 says a water tower is a right circular cylinder. You guys know what a circular cylinder is. The right part just means it sticks up at a right angle from the ground. So it's just like a normal straight up thing. So the right thing doesn't really mean much. Okay, anyway, it's 21 meters high and the radius is 7 meters. So water tower, 21 meters high, the radius is 7 meters.
So is it 2 times
Okay, the question, well, hold on, let's read the question. Determine the area to the nearest square meter that needs to be covered if its exterior is painted. So if we want to paint the exterior, what are we looking for?
the lateral area?
Surface area.
Total surface area?
No.
It's
Okay.
like the lateral
So
area
water, this
plus
is like a
the
water
base.
tower, like, the water towers in Bartlesville,
So
like the hot, warm, cold stuff, right? If we were painting this, what sides would we need to paint?
the lateral area on one base.
The lateral area
In one base.
and the top base. Cannot paint the bottom of the water tower.
I mean, technically you could, but
No,
it'd be
technically
useless.
can't, no.
Well,
Technically.
Okay, so how do we find the area of a base?
Base.
If it's a circle?
pi
Pi
radius.
squared. Or, yeah.
Okay,
Like
just
pi
pi r
squared.
squared. So 7 squared times pi.
1 over
Now,
2.
Since we're actually like trying to figure out how much paint we need, the pi thing is not going to be helpful. So we want to turn this into a decimal number. Okay,
3.14.
that's for the base. Okay, how do I do lateral area? It's-
Perimeter of the base.
Instead of perimeter times height, it's circumference,
Oh.
which is, this goes back to the formula I had at the, top. So the circumference is 2 times 7 times pi, and then the height is 21. So that's all. You just plug all that in. It says round to the nearest meter, so you would round to the one place.
Finally, we're done.
Are we though?